Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Frost last night, and most important as far as I'm concerned when the weather's this cold is to make sure the bird feeders are filled up. I hadn't noticed they dropped down, but as I have noticed now, we'll deal with them. I have 4 feeders out there, one of which I'm not using at the moment, which is for the fat balls, the suet balls. I have got some, but I'm afraid with the big holes in the feeder like that, the rats can get to them and they don't last. They end up going down quite badly at night. Well, that's obviously not birds, is it? So I don't use that one anymore. I'm not bothering. I might do, if we get persistent, very, very cold weather, then I might put them out because the birds will get at them. But one feeder's got peanuts in. That one's still 3/4 full, so we don't need to worry about that one. This is the one that goes down the fastest, and I use this. It's a seed mix. It's got all sorts in it, and it's no germination, so anything that's dropped on the ground doesn't grow. Doesn't mean to say it doesn't make a mess, but it doesn't grow. So we don't get lots of weeds coming up through the cracks in the pavers. So I mean, it's early in the day, it's 8:30, and we had a frost. So and tonight it's expected to go down here on the coast -4. So we'll obviously have a hard frost tomorrow morning. Now this feeder, which I notice has got a crack in it, never mind. Might actually get some new ones soon. I'm having to open some new bags. This feeder I actually do a mix, so it ends up stripy. 2 types of seed that I use here. This is sunflower hearts, so this is like peeled sunflower. And it's very high energy, very high energy. It's rich in oil and protein, and attracts quite a few. Quite honestly, the feeders, that one that I've just done, the sparrows go on that one most of the time, which is good because they get through it at quite a rate. Whereas this one is used by the nuthatches, the robin gets up on this one, the chaffinches, and blue tits, great tits and cold tits like this one. However, the blue tits do actually favour the peanuts, and if the great spotted woodpecker comes back, which is a rare visit, that always goes on the peanuts. So these are actual sunflower seeds, so they're obviously black. And these do make a bit of a mess with the shells, but they biodegrade, so they're not a big deal. And I just do this in bands. You try not to get too much on the floor and waste it. So I just do some of each. This one just doesn't seem to want to pour nicely at the moment. Better. So I just alternate so that they get a variety. But quite honestly, as it's cold, once the weather drops down, insects die off. The seeds will run short as the season progresses. These are the more important ones, the sunflower hearts. So we'll have the majority of those in there. And this bag's incredibly full. I'm not sure the peg's actually going to hold it together, which is a bit of a nuisance. Yeah, just about. There we go, that's that one done. I'll get these back outside. When I go out to get them to bring them in, it does disturb the birds for a while. They go missing for sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, because they've been disturbed and a person's gone up to where they feed, so they're wary of it. But they soon come back in. So that's it. Job for the day as far as the bird feeders are concerned. And I'll keep my eye on them, make sure they're topped up as this weather's turned cold now. Don't know how long it's going to last, but definitely it's brightened up, the wind's dropped down to nothing, skies have cleared, which is good. You know, I mean, it's a much nicer feel to weather like this. I know some, you know, it's going to cost me more money because obviously the heating will have to stay on for longer periods, otherwise I'm going to sit in the house freezing. But I help keep the heat in the house by sacrificing the grow room by keeping the door shut. So on milder days, some of the heat from the house is allowed to creep out here to stop the heater in here kicking in and out. But it's a combination of the two, you know. The daytime temperature out here in the grow room today is probably not going to get above 14 or 15 degrees, with a low of 12 overnight, whereas in the house I should be able to stay reasonably comfortable with this door shut. But anyway, we'll get this out for the birds and keep our eye on it. Quite a hard frost predicted for tomorrow, and I haven't looked any further than that because sometimes they can't even get the actual day right, let alone the next day and the day after. So, but certainly with clear skies and no wind at this time of year, it's going to be cold, which is what's predicted. Anyway, just a quick video on what I'm up to first thing in the morning. As I say, now I need to go and get dressed, get my warm clothes on, and watch the birds come back out of the window. I've still not got the long-tailed tits 3 arrived a couple of weeks ago, stayed around for about half an hour. I haven't seen them since. I've still seen no goldfinches, and they're not around because I would hear them in the trees if they were around, so they're not here, they're not around. No greenfinches, again I would hear them. So we're short on a few types of birds at the moment, the sort of birds you'd normally get in the garden. Now there's a big bird watch coming up. Whoops, something just dropped on the roof. RSPB bird watch, where everybody spends an amount of time in a certain place, probably their garden or whatever, and jots down every type of bird they see and how many, and that goes into national statistics to see how well, or in most cases not, how well the birds are doing. So, you know, I won't be able to report on things I can't see. If they're not here, I can't report on them. First year I was here, there were goldfinches on the feeders all through the winter, right up into mid-spring. And then they went off out into the countryside, and they've just not come back. So, strange. Anyway, let's get these back out. Birds will be thinking their throats have been cut. Well, they haven't had any food for a bit. But they're really, you know, once you get to this time of year, the leaves are all off the trees. You know, insects are virtually non-existent. And the seeds, the natural seeds, you know, in people's gardens, it's important in your garden not to cut everything down to the ground. You know, any seed heads or anything in the garden, that's natural food for the birds. So it's worth leaving it. You have to bear in mind in the winter, you're probably not spending much time in the garden anyway, so how important is it for the garden to look neat and tidy in the winter time? Let's leave some dieback and stuff for the birds, natural food. And to replace the natural food in times of hardship, we put our own food out, but it is, effectively, it's still natural food. The seeds in here are all sort of things that could be found in the wild, and obviously the sunflower and sunflower hearts. Not a natural species, sunflowers in this country, but there's enough people growing them on farms and things to provide people like us for stuff like garden feeders and things. I think there's sunflowers are used to make sunflower oil, which I think is used for cooking. So I don't particularly use that, I use olive oil. But yeah, so anyway, thanks for dropping by. See you next time.